afternoon, everyone. Please be seated. It is my pleasure to welcome all of you to the 2026 Convocation of the University of Arizona James E. Rogers College of Law. Thank you. My name is Taylor Alexander, and I am the 2025-2026 Student Bar Association President. And today, I have the honor of formally presenting this remarkable graduating class to our dean. Over the last few years, the college has been my home and community. But standing here today and saying that is kind of funny, because when I first came to this school, I had every intention to transfer. Choosing UofA Law for me was very exciting, but it meant moving to a city I had never been to before, away from all of my family and friends, and most heavily doing long distance with my husband. Candidly, my plan was to leave as soon as possible. But then I met my peers in this class. The people that you will see walk across this stage today are just exceptional. Yes, applause. They are. Every program graduating today, JD, SJD, LLM, and MLS, is full of incredible people with incredible talent. Now, as a budding attorney, I know I can't just make these claims without backing them up. So, in advance of giving this welcome today, I asked these graduates to share some things about them that make this class special. Here are a few. More than half of the graduates here today moved to attend law school, and almost 60% are first-generation college or graduate students. Yeah. Over 25% speak a language other than English, including Navajo, Spanish, German, French, Mandarin, Hawaiian, and Korean. Nearly 1/3 of these graduates play instruments, over 25% are parents and caregivers. We even have several former college athletes. Some members of this class were nationally ranked for sports, instruments, or journalism. Some of our peers have been featured on NPR and CNN. Others were published for fashion or science. One of our peers published a novel, and another is a real-life LinkedIn influencer and author. Not to mention, several grads have had their substantial papers published within this last year. We have no shortage of variety. We have peers whose art hangs in galleries, a peer who worked as a pig farmer to pay his way through undergrad. Yeah. Amazingly, somebody graduating today claims to have never once had a sip of coffee. One of our peers is an Austrian pop star. We have several people who entered these degree programs as their second or third career, and there is even a 73-year-old grad walking across this stage today. Now, I could go on and on about how impressive these people are. And amazingly, everything I just listed doesn't even touch their character. The class of 2026 has some of the most compassionate, intelligent, and caring people. I can attest firsthand that they are truly in a class of their own. As I look to the future of the legal profession and all of its uncertainties, knowing that these people are the ones entering it makes me feel hopeful for what's to come. While I have this moment, I'd like to thank all of you on behalf of the graduates today. All of the people behind me and all of the people in front of me. You are the backbones of all of the graduates. Yeah. Without support of our families and friends, without the guidance of the faculty and staff at UofA, none of what we are today is possible. To my peers, I'm honored to walk among you. I'm honored to have shared every triumph and tribulation with you. And I'm honored to call you all my family. And with that, Dean Craig, I'm honored to present to you the James E. Rogers College of Law Class of 2026.
Thank you, Taylor. It's my great privilege to receive the graduating class of 2026 and to celebrate your collective achievements. Graduates, congratulations. Today is a milestone, a celebration of your hard work and a recognition of all you've overcome to reach this moment. We're here to honor your work and to celebrate with you. On this special day, we also honor the history of this land. We respectfully acknowledge the University of Arizona is on the land and territories of indigenous peoples. Today, Arizona is home to 22 federally recognized tribes, with Tucson being home to the O'odham and the Yaqui. The university strives to build sustainable relationships with sovereign Native nations and indigenous communities through education offerings, partnerships, and community service. Convocation marks a turning point, the close of one chapter and the beginning of the next. But more than that, it's a pause, a rare moment to look back with pride and forward with purpose. Some of you arrived at Arizona Law right after undergrad. Others came after years in the workforce. Some moved here from other countries, balancing time zones, jobs, and families. All of you brought something unique, and each of you shaped our college and our community more than you know. But you didn't get here alone, so while today is about celebrating our most recent graduates, let's also recognize the families, friends, and mentors who helped make this day possible. You affirmed their dreams, you steadied and encouraged them in moments of doubt, and you patiently endured, no doubt, a few rounds of debate about the latest legal issue in the news. Without your support, your guidance, and your belief in them, this moment wouldn't be possible. You've helped launch them into a profession that needs their talent, that needs their judgment, and their voices. Every graduate owes you a debt of gratitude, and so does Arizona Law. Thank you. I also want to recognize the faculty and staff who walked this path with you. They've challenged you, they've supported you, and believed in you often before you believed in yourselves. I will call the names of faculty and administrators and ask them to stand. Please hold your applause until all introductions are made. Barbara Atwood, Paul Bennett, Carrie Cluck, Andy Cohn, Kirsten Engel, Joy Air Cardillo, Xiao Chen Hu, Mona Emel, Willie Jordan Curtis, Eunice Lee, Lori Lewis, Edna Meza Aguirre, Teresa Miguel Stearns, Mark Miller, Gavin Milcharek Desai, Shafali Milcharek Desai, Diana Newmark, Shalev Roisman, Susie Solomon, Andrew Shepard, Andy Silverman, Diana Simon, Billy Sostrom, Tara Sklar, Stephanie Stern, Keith Swisher, Oren Tamir, Shannon Trebby, Tammy Walker, Jordan Blair Woods, and Sylvia Lett. Thank you for joining us to celebrate our graduates today. Faculty and administrators, please be seated. As new graduates of Arizona Law, you're entering a world that doesn't pause for anyone or anything. It's complex, it's fast, it often feels uncertain, but that's exactly where lawyers are needed most. The law is more than a career, it's a responsibility and a profession. You now have the training to solve problems, to reduce harm, to bring clarity where there's confusion, and to create access where there are barriers. That's not just valuable, it's vital. I hope you'll carry forward the heart of what you've learned, not just in your courses, but in your conversations, in the challenges you faced, and in your moments of growth. In addition, let me offer 3 things to hold on to. First, remember what motivated you to come to law school in the first place. For many of you, your decision to study law was related to a desire to make an impact, to be an advocate, to contribute to and to improve your community, to be of assistance to others. Now, the path through law school might have had some unexpected, welcomed and unwelcome turns. You now might be starting a career that you didn't even know existed before law school. But the person who started the path toward law school is still inside of you. And I think it makes sense to honor that person, that version of you, as you walk across the stage today to celebrate. Second, legal training helps us learn how to advocate vigorously, how to state our arguments firmly, and how to disagree strongly. But it also teaches us to listen to the arguments of others, to test our beliefs and assumptions, and to engage in constructive debates and conversations. Most importantly, legal training helps us learn how to lose. More specifically, how to accept when the final ruling doesn't go our way. The rule of law depends on lawyers being willing to be both fierce advocates for our clients, for their causes, and fierce defenders and protectors of the institutions and procedures that help us settle disagreements. The third thing I want to offer is to show up and to share your voice. The people who make a difference aren't always the ones with the most credentials or the biggest platform. They are often simply the people who show up. They show up when it's inconvenient, when it's difficult, when it matters. So show up for your clients, show up for your profession, show up for your community, even when no one's watching. Now, one last point, and let me specifically here address our JD graduates. There's one last step for you in the profession, the bar exam. Each of you is prepared to pass. Each of you has worked extremely hard to get to this point. Now go finish the job. Show up for yourself these next 2 months. There is no better way to honor the work you've performed so far than to study diligently for the exam so that you can join our profession and start making the impact that you hoped for when you were first thinking about becoming a lawyer. To all of our graduates, I hope you leave with a sense of purpose and a toolkit for creating change. Graduation is just the beginning. The real impact happens out there in the lives you influence, the problems you solve, and the values you carry forward. We're proud of you, we're excited for you, and most importantly, we're counting on you. Congratulations, and welcome to the Arizona Law alumni community. As I mentioned, showing up and sharing your voice matters. The spirit of that message is embodied by the students selected by their classmates to speak today. The 2026 student speakers elected by the graduating class are Arjun Puri and Renee Redshirt. Arjun and Renee are both recognized as student leaders and passionate advocates. I would like to first welcome Arjun to the podium, followed by Renee.
Well, thank you, Dean Craig, and I wanted to say what a beautiful room of faces. Thank you all for being here. On a warm August morning in 2023, around 10 a.m., my JD classmates and I packed into room 164. It was the morning of our first law school class, Contracts, with Professor Andrew Woods. Professor Woods, in his patented navy blazer, began to lecture about a man in a tavern who had a few too many drinks and, on the back of the napkin contract, signed away his farm to an acquaintance. The law of contracts, Professor Woods explained that semester, was complex, but the premise behind it was simple. When are we bound to one another by a promise? We've come a long way since then. Whether we're graduating today with an LLM, JD, MLS, or SJD, we're all here as graduates of the College of Law because of the promises we made to one another. We promised to push each other academically, to keep each other honest, and remind each other of our why. We promised to step into the roles of Detective Jesse Lavelle and Dr. Morgan Ford, and sacrifice our own free time to be witnesses in our friends' mock trials. We promised to prepare to practice. We promised to show up to group study sessions in the collab room having already reviewed the material individually. Sometimes we broke that promise. But when we did, we promised to teach it to each other the best we could. Law school could be lonely, but we were in this together. We promised to complete our course surveys on D2L the next time we opened D2L. And then we hastily closed the pop-up window. And we promised to turn off our law school brain when we hung out outside of school. Law school could feel all-encompassing, so when we got together, we promised to know the difference between needing a classmate and needing a friend. To reach this day, to walk across this stage later this afternoon, must mean that we followed through on our promises to each other. For that, and for all of you, I am so grateful. But today is not just about the promises we graduates have fulfilled to each other. Our graduation is also a culmination of the promises that others have fulfilled to us, of what our many supporters have themselves sacrificed so that we could reach this day. Some of these supporters are in the room with us today, and some of them are not. To all of our supporters, this accomplishment is as much yours as it is ours. To our professors, who took the time to nurture our curiosity about the law, who stayed after class and generously answered questions from a line of eager 1Ls, and who beckoned us up to your offices and even into your homes. To our significant others and our children, who loved us enough to sacrifice time away from us as we pursued the hard work of case briefing, mock trial preparation, and outlining for finals. To our staff members, who make our law school the vibrant and welcoming place it is, who run from lunchtime panel to lunchtime panel to make sure the tech is working with a smile on your face the whole time. To our administrators, from those of you who gave us our first vote of confidence by admitting us, to those of you who stood beside us through personal hardships. And to our loved ones, those who raised us, those who encouraged us, those who shaped us into the people we are, and those who completely changed your 5-year plans so that ours could include law school at the University of Arizona. To take a page out of Mr. Rogers' book, would you just take, along with me, 10 seconds to think of the people who have helped you to become who you are, those who have cared about you and wanted what was best for you in life. 10 seconds of silence. I'll watch the time. Whomever you've been thinking about, how pleased they must be to know the promises that they kept to you and you kept to them meant something. Thank you. And now please give a warm welcome to my colleague and fellow graduate, Renee.
at a shik a do shirene. She a Renee redshirt yenishe. Twitter cheatney nishle. Welsh bushes teen. Tapaha dashes che. Welsh dashanella. Akot ego dine atan nishle. In my community, as Navajo people, we introduce ourselves not only by name, but by who we come from, our clans and our people. In doing so, we place ourselves in relation to others. And in that relation, there is responsibility, because none of us moves through life alone, and how we carry ourselves matters to others. Over the past 3 years, law school made that understanding visible in new ways. We studied at a time when many of the legal questions and public issues we encountered in class and in clinic felt immediate, contested, and inseparable from the world around us. In different ways, we felt the weight of seeing how deeply law, policy, and decision-making affect lives, families, and communities. We did not all experience these years in the same way, and our class has grown from those differences. But these years also asked something more from us. They asked us to be open-minded, to see from perspectives beyond our own, and to question what we thought we knew. They also asked us to reflect on who we are, how we relate to one another, and what kind of people we are becoming in the process. This day honors not only what we have achieved, but the kind of people these years have asked us to become. Who we are is honored here, but known by how we go forward. In a time that asks for clarity, care, and courage, and how we listen with compassion, and how we remain teachable with humility, and how we speak when silence would be easier. And remembering that what we shape in law is lived across relations among people, land, water, and all living beings. Because advocacy at its best keeps humanity in view. It makes visible what has been erased or pushed aside, and it refuses to let law grow distant from the lives it affects. And maybe leadership begins in that way of being and how we carry responsibility, not later, not when someone else seems more ready or more experienced. It begins now in how we choose to show up in ways both quiet and bold. Leadership is accountable. It builds trust, and from trust, community. It is also generational. We are here because others taught us, challenged us, believed in us, and made room for us. And we are grateful to everyone here and to those present in memory whose love, sacrifice, and steady presence brought us to this moment. And because of that, what we do next should do the same for someone else. Part of what carries us forward is remembering who we are, as my elders have taught me. In our Navajo culture, remembering is a recalling of values, of who you are today, and of who you are still becoming. It grounds us, and over time, it becomes a way of being, not turned inward toward the self, but outward toward our relations. It deepens us in life and in character. In the legal profession, whatever paths we enter, the question is not only what we will do, but who will we be? So as we go forward from here, may we be bold, may we disrupt what is unjust, and may we help build what comes next, together and for one another. Ahiyahet, thank you.
Thank you, Arjun and Renee, for sharing your words with us today. I'm grateful for your messages to your classmates and our community, and I'm honored to call you Arizona Law grads. Our student speakers are going to leave the stage now, joining their classmates and friends for the remainder of today's ceremony. It's now my privilege to introduce this year's commencement speaker, Paul Charlton. Paul is a two-time University of Arizona graduate, earning his bachelor's degree from the university in 1983 and his JD from the College of Law in 1988. He went on to build a distinguished career as a trial lawyer and public servant, including serving as the United States Attorney for the District of Arizona. Throughout his career, he has earned deep respect for his integrity, his professionalism, and his commitment to justice, public service, and the legal profession. In 2006, Paul was among several U.S. attorneys dismissed after resisting pressure to pursue actions he believed were inconsistent with the facts, the law, and his professional obligations. Paul's willingness to stand by principle, even at personal and professional costs, serves as a powerful reminder that the legal profession depends on lawyers who are willing to exercise independent judgment, to act with integrity, and to uphold the rule of law. As you prepare to leave this college and enter the profession, I cannot think of a more fitting voice or a better example of the responsibility that comes with being a lawyer. Class of 2026, please join me in welcoming fellow Wildcat, Paul Charlton.
What a great and wonderful day it is for you, class of 2026. I recognize this as a singular honor and privilege to speak with you today. Thank you, Dean Craig, for this opportunity, for that kind introduction, and congratulations to you as well on your appointment as Dean. It is well-deserved, and one of your many qualifications must have been discretion, because you see, ladies and gentlemen, Dean Craig knows what my law school grades were. And I feel compelled to tell you in this academic setting and in the spirit of full disclosure, I graduated from this law school magna cum lucky. Very, very, very lucky. You would, I think, have to go back to this law school's graduating classes of the late 1930s, the early 1940s, that greatest generation, who engaged in what Studs Terkel called the Good War. You'd have to go back that far in time before you could find a class that will face the kind of existential challenges you are about to face. Not, God willing, a world war, but very real tests in which you will be called upon to defend the rule of law and at the same time deal with the light speed advancement of artificial intelligence. Whatever good or ill that technology brings, you will be called upon to preserve what only you can offer, that which is human. So, no pressure, class of 2026. It's only the survival of our profession and the rule of law, but you've got this. I'm quite certain that you will meet and overcome these challenges. And I firmly believe that in doing so, you will be known as a great generation. I have some thoughts, some rules I learned as a career prosecutor that may help you along the way. But first, a level set. With apologies to my parents and to my Midwestern ancestors, this is going to involve speaking about myself. So, as to avoid too great an offense, let me say that I do not want to portray myself in the telling of these stories as a perfect prosecutor or a perfect U.S. attorney. I was neither. But I did absorb an ethic, a way of practicing, by falling into the gravity of men and women I admired, and in whose company I learned a practice of law that I could embrace, who stood for the ideals of justice embodied in the rule of law, and who understood that our reputations, both personal and institutional, were far more important than the whims and dictates of our political masters. Importantly, you do not have to be a prosecutor, want to be a prosecutor, stand before a jury in a homicide case to employ these rules, or to know that the lessons I learned there will apply in whatever field of the profession you choose. So, 30 years ago, I prosecuted a RICO conspiracy case with one of the acts in furtherance of that crime being the execution style of a 20-year-old honor student. I tell you it took place 30 years ago because even in 3 decades' time, I remember to this day sitting with the mother and the father of that murdered young man. I recall the mother telling me how after her son's murder, she went into her son's closet, and there she removed his clothes item by item. And as only a mother who had dressed and clothed her child could, she remembered as she took out a shirt where she had purchased that shirt, when her son had worn that shirt, and in that way felt the now distant satisfaction given to her when her son was alive and she able to care for him. She told us after taking the clothes out of the closet that she'd laid them on the bed. Then she moved her hands as if she were cutting with a pair of scissors and mimicked the cutting of each item of clothing into squares. From those squares, she said she made 2 quilts, both beautiful, heartbreaking works of art. One quilt she kept for herself, and the other she gave to the detective sergeant who had worked so very hard to bring her son's killers to justice. If I close my eyes, I can see her and hear her as if she were here today. I tell you that story because no Zoom call, no absorption of information through artificial intelligence, no other way of knowing her love, her pain in this unimaginable loss, none of that could have been conveyed except there, in person, in that conference room. Whatever AI brings, it will not bring you that. It will never substitute for the moment your client tells you about the fear of losing their business and the plea, can you help? The eviction, the abuse, the inheritance, can you help? It will never substitute for the moment your client tells you they do not want to die in pain. Can you help? And to play off the theme that you said so very well, Dean Craig, show up in person. Advise, smile, cry, but be there in person. AI will change the practice of law as I and my generation knew it, but that moment, that human-to-human connection can never be replaced. Be that lawyer. Go into the office. Meet with your client in person. That is my practice today. To be clear, I have a very good job now. I like the people with whom I work. In the winter of my career, I can largely choose my cases, and I take genuine pride in who my clients are. But I had a great job when I was a prosecutor. Justice Jackson's now famous and often cited address to U.S. attorneys spoke to me personally. The citizen's safety lies in the prosecutor who tempers zeal with human kindness, who seeks truth and not victims, who serves the law and not factional purposes. And if being a prosecutor was a great job, being the U.S. attorney was the best job until I was fired. How that happened may help you in whatever your practice, as you work to ensure adherence to the rule of law. When I became a prosecutor, my first boss, a graduate of this class, Michael Cudahy, told me to draw a line. Easy, right? Just like in kindergarten, draw a line. Except that this line was the one over which you would never cross. So I followed Mike's advice and drew lines. I became an assistant U.S. attorney and held on to them when I became the U.S. attorney. What were they? Lines you would have drawn. I would not seek the death penalty except where justified. So when the U.S. Attorney General instructed me to seek the death penalty on a case where, among other issues, we had not located the victim's body, I said we would not seek the death penalty and was told that was insubordination. Another, the FBI at that time had a practice of discouraging the recording of confessions. Yes, that's exactly as it sounds. In, for example, a child sex abuse case where the best evidence is often the suspect's confession, the FBI did not record the confession. They merely took handwritten notes. I told the FBI we would no longer prosecute their cases unless they began to record confessions, and was told that in doing so, I had exercised poor judgment. And this one, we had initiated the investigation of a sitting congressman, and I pushed back when DOJ repeatedly and without good reason denied our requests for a wiretap. The New York Times would call DOJ's reluctance suspicious. The death penalty, recording confessions, investigating politicians, even when aligned with the ruling party, those were my lines. As you start your careers, draw your own lines. Make them just as clear so that you will know to stay far back from that line. Here's an easy one. I will not permit my boss to put my name on a pleading that does not accurately reflect the law, including law that may not support our position. But here's a more difficult one. When others cross a line that you would not, when to speak out, when to address an injustice that does not involve your practice, but does involve your country, our laws. Speaking out then can be much, much harder. But as you wrestle with that question, remember that even the rules of evidence recognize silence as acquiescence. More importantly, oppression knows silence as one of its most effective tools. So speak out when you can. The controlling feature in drawing of these lines is the necessity to follow the dictates of your conscience, not those of your peers or your bosses, input from all and any, yes, but it's your judgment we trust. When you set those personal limits now, you establish that point at which you will not yield. You ensure the preservation of the rule of law. My lines, your lines, the decision to draw lines and not cross those lines comes at some personal cost. For me, it meant getting fired. That was hard. The uncertainty that followed my firing was beyond unsettling. I knew why I was fired, but would the public, my future employers? Eventually, there were multiple congressional hearings in the House and the Senate, an Inspector General's report, what seemed like an endless stream of articles in the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, Time magazine. Does anybody remember Time magazine? And my sons having to explain to me that I had a wiki page, and me asking them, a wiki what? So as hard, as personally disrupting as my firing was, I can tell you from lived experience that the vast majority of Americans want the same thing you and I do, an adherence to the rule of law. I know that to be true because after my firing and a great deal of public attention, the next Attorney General rescinded the order to seek the death penalty. The FBI eventually changed its policy and now records confessions. And that congressman, the next U.S. attorney took him to trial, and a federal jury here in Tucson convicted him of 11 felony counts. Today, when you see resignations or firings at U.S. attorneys' offices throughout our great country, those courageous prosecutors in Minnesota or the Southern District of New York, tomorrow, when you draw and refuse to cross that line, those acts are what Attorney General Kennedy called that tiny ripple of hope that builds a current which can sweep down the mightiest walls of oppression and resistance. Theirs, yours, our drawn lines preserve the rule of law and our nation's future. So, class of 2026, the next great generation, show up, draw your lines, and bear down.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you for sharing your story, your history. We hear your charge to the graduates, and we're grateful for your candor and commitment to the legal profession. We're so very proud to call you an alum and a friend of the College of Law. Thank you. Graduates, we move now to a moment that you and your families have been anticipating with great pride. Professor Andrew Shepard will call the names for SJD, LLM, MLS, and graduate certificate students.
Felipe Trevino. Edgardo Barreto. Dana Lynette Chavis. Hugh Fong Wen. John Paul Arvello. Jessica Frappier. Joyce Molell. Bobby Nguyen. Jiahao Fang. Nikita Yankin. Lin Vu. Huyen Pham. Han Huang. Tam Vu. Micah Paul Sherman.
Astrid and Sina.
Thank you, perfect. Astrid Encina. Juliana Barbara Diaz Pejotto. Grace Elsa Durian Nabol. Morgan Goodrow. Raven Sharon Jordan. Michael Navarro. Victor Adeyamo. Maureen Flores. Maria Rubio Rodriguez. Kayla Valenzuela. Ana Victoria Camacho Valdez. Jocelyn Lillian Livingston Riley. Claudia Rosales Navarro. Gabriela Romero Garcia. Bethany Grismore. Erica De Leon. Wonderful, thank you. Charlie? Yes. Sweet. Audrey and Charlie. Natalia Lynette Nez. Perfect. Taline Robinson Catalan. Hello, good to see you. Muller. Sweet. Christine Lancia Muller. Darlene Faye Mendoza. Perfect. Azucena Palomares. Mireya Arroyo. Luis Acosta. Perfect. Diana Razzo Kramer. Sweet, Valenti, thank you. Christina Lynn Valenti. Roberta Bible. Thank you. Carol Nygett. With Tank. Kyle McCormick Matan. Tanya T. Chavez. Erica Carmel Melton. Hope S. Craig. Deborah Ruby Luna. Adi Sharma.
The last one's
Avithia? Okay. Matthew William Frank Avithia. John Kobe II. Thank you very much. Ambrose. Sweet. Autumn Rose Moon Ambrogi. Thank you very much. Vieson. Emily Vieson. Thank you very much. Idalis, sweet. Idalis Castro. Thank you very much. Laura Saunders. Thank you. Thank you very much. Kaylee Waldrop. Thank you. Lutfia Abunada. Thank you very much. Muskan Yadav. Thank you very much. Gilman Chaudhry. Thank you very much. Robert Swan. Thank you very much. Lancaster. Joseph P. Lancaster. Thank you very much. Fearon. Rachel Fearon. Lindsay Clark. Thank you very much. Long don't see. Amira Al-Kayat. Marissa Blair. Daisy Barrios. Casey B. Huffman. Clara Solomon Solano. Thank you very much. Charla Horn. Thank you very much. There we go. Cedric Green. Amber Dorman. Athena Monique Garnica. London Marie Glass. Jennifer Loya.
The last SJD.
Sweet.
SJD.
Ole Ikayo?
Yes, Ole Ikayo.
Frederick Ole Ikayo. To read the names for our JD graduates, I would like to introduce Professor Susie Salmon.
Zach Kaufman. Hoon Beg. Jacob Urand Grosschek. Renee Redshirt. Arthur Casimir Walls. Paige Miller. Colby Kaoli Ross. Jacob Shackelford. Garrett Sumner. Ana Rose Perez. Allison Noel LaForce. Sarah Avila. Kyle Dayton. Justin Bowen. Lucas Edward Moeller. Allison Rose Bolio.
Two S's.
Sasha Pressburger. Keaton Markley. Taylor Michelle Alexander. Arjun Puri. Evan Diamond. Mark Islas. Alyssa Marie Keene. Gilberto Galvan Zacarias. Ian James Kavanaugh. Bryce Houghton. Antonio Corrales. Simon Moaziz. Francis Hope Gruntkowski. Victoria Pagadwan. Braden Mathis. Diana Paola Vega Herman. Hillary Taylor. Lydia Susan Hans. Victoria Howell. Nicholas Davis. Madison Lee Rudd. Sarah Natalie Alvarez. Sarah Cawthon. Sarah Goldberg. Isabella Urquidez. Sophie Rubin. Lily Sklar. Maya Grace Davidson. Victoria Ann Davis. Madison Marion Marshall. Keely Sipiorski. Sean Patrick O'Brien. Alexandra Nieminen. Elsa Christine Hookland. Haley Lynn Norling. Jack Drum. Jack Wayne Anderson. Austin Joseph Vertesh. Aiken Umholtz. Christian Freeman. Spencer May. Samuel Lasley. Tyler Wilhelm. Kayla Bowen. Nicholas Flores. Jennifer Shim. Maxwell Himmelstein. Helen Lee. Caitlin Reed Diviak. Grace Schroeder.
Alejandra Tafoya Amezcua.
Yujiro Fujimoto.
Yujiro Fujimoto. Elizabeth Gallardo Robles. Beanish Khan. Olivia Chrisandra Kiefer. Zena Helmy. Audrey Conant. Carissa Patton. Sunshine Paige Johnson. Anson Nauman. Chase Martin. Joseph McCarthy. Jackson Ricks. Bella Deerhog. Christina Faith Barrios. Allison Meg Rahman. Jack Dias. Devin Michael Garcia. Alexander Scott Perger. Tyler Sanders Flynn. Peter Carr. Ellie Mariah Anderson. Jesse Crawford. Joseph Thomas Higgins. Kevin Hoffman. Alex Siegel. Ella Spohr. Fiona Stout. Peyton Britt Jenkins. J. Kale White. Emily Estelle Downs. Cooper James Odenkirk. Gavin Scott Buckley. Theodore Whetstone. Erica Kuhn. Tessa Hansen Vargas. Jacqueline Francisco. Natasha Drake. Shelby Riggs. Winona Little Al Ignacio. Drake Sedaraman. Brian Fitzsimmons. Jean Frederick Belaise. Shadi Shirazi. Blessing Adejo.
As we near the end of our ceremony, I want to acknowledge and thank the College of Law staff that made this evening possible. From planning the behind-the-scenes coordination, your work helped create a moment our graduates and their families will never forget. Thank you. As you leave here today, you do so as graduates of the University of Arizona James E. Rogers College of Law, and as members of a profession that carries both privilege and responsibility. The degrees you receive today reflect not only your academic achievement, but also your resilience, your character, and your commitment to serving something larger than yourselves. Over the past several years, you've supported one another through challenges, you've built lasting friendships, and prepared yourselves to lead in courtrooms, boardrooms, classrooms, communities, and in public service. We're very proud of what you've accomplished, and we're excited to see the impact you will make in Arizona, across the country, and around the world. Wherever your path leads you, you will always remain part of this college and part of this community. And now, the moment you've been waiting for, the words that turn all of your hard work, late nights, and determination into something permanent. Upon the declaration of President Suresh Garamella and the authority vested in him by the Arizona Board of Regents, I recognize you as graduates with the degrees of Juris Doctor, Masters of Laws, Master in Legal Studies, Graduate Certificate, or SJD. Congratulations. Graduates, please stand and prepare to recess as proud recipients of your degree. Guests, for all of our guests, please remain in your seats until the graduates and then the faculty have completed the recessional. Then you may join your graduates in front of Centennial Hall. Thank you all for joining us to celebrate the class of 2026. Bear down.